We've all had thoughts of eating food off the ground, a harmless looking piece of food. We don't know how old it is or when it was dropped, but we do know that it's full of bacteria, evil bacteria, that would cause suffering and in some cases even death. But you eat it anyway. Come on, it's a full slice of pizza. But you eat it because you have faith in your immune system. The immune system, as you might guess, is in your body. It is made of millions of cells and different types of cell. Each cell sends its own signal that only other cells can read, and then they go on to start a massive, almost programmed chain response that just thinking about it makes my brain hurt. So I focused on one group, the T cell group. In the T cell group, there are two cells, a helper T and a killer T. Helper T cells can alert and spot diseases for other cells to go and kill. Killer Ts, as you might imagine, just go straight off and kill the disease itself. When I was little, I always thought it did this just by plain magic, because whenever I asked someone how it worked, they just explained to me just cause, and never really gave me a real answer. But it's not. It's science. It starts with the phagocyte cell that floats around your body looking for antigens, which are bacteria, viruses, fungi, anything that could get you sick. Once it finds antigens, it will, well, eat it. Once, let's say, the virus is eaten, it'll be chopped up into little pieces and then presented on the MCH2 protein to T cells and other cells. Now, before I go explaining any further, there are a couple details which you guys must know. That fuzz on the T cells are receptors. Each receptor is the same for the whole cell, but each cell has its own unique receptor. Each receptor bonds to only one certain protein emitted by antigens. Each T cell and antigen has its own receptor and protein, much like a snowflake. Back to where our T cells were waiting patiently, if the helper T cell's receptors matches the protein that is given by the phagocyte cell, the T cell will get activated. Remember, the protein is just a little piece of the initial virus. Once activated, T cells will split into exact copies with the same receptor to increase the efficiency of whatever they do. When helper T cells get activated, they do two things. First thing is they ready the immune system by producing a chemical. When other immune cells sense this chemical, they respond in different ways according to the type of cell, but inevitably will increase the efficiency of it curing you from your disease. The other thing they do is activate B cells. First, the activated T cell will float around until it stumbles into any B cells. Just like T cells, B cells have a unique receptor, and each one-of-a-kind receptor will only bond to a certain protein from an antigen. Before the T cell actually activates a B cell, something must happen first. Again, it starts with the phagocyte, collecting and presenting an antigen protein, but this time to B cells. Once a B cell is given a protein from the phagocyte cell, it does not activate it by itself. The T cell has to go and activate it. The T cell, where we left it, was floating around in the bloodstream looking for the right B cell. If the T cell finds a B cell with the same protein, it will activate the B cell. The B cell will divide and go to do whatever the B cell does, but that's B cells, so. The other type of T cell is killer T cells. Killer T cells are like cell security. How they do that is when a cell is infected or mutated, it will produce odd proteins, which then the MCH1 protein will present. If that presented protein matches the receptor on the killer T cell, well, it dies, but in the line of duty, so it's okay. Killer T cells will constantly travel the bloodstream looking for a protein it can bond to, and when it does, it kills the cell that protein is being produced by. I'm going to do a very quick review of what I just went over for people who missed it or don't understand. Those things at the top are phagocyte cells. Phagocyte cells devour antigens and present as protein to helper T cells, but only if the receptor of the T cell matches the protein will the helper T cell activate. The same goes for B cells. If the receptor and the protein matches, only then will it take the protein, but does not get activated. The activated T cell will float in the bloodstream till it finds a B cell with the same protein. If it does, it'll activate the B cell. Killer T cells search the body for funky proteins being produced. If it does, it'll kill that cell, producing the proteins to stop the spread of mutations. Hopefully you learned something from my presentation about the immune system other than it works like magic or works just cause. And maybe next time you think twice about eating that pizza. Have a nice day.